he's the one that calms me down. Where are you going? Yeah, you, mister. When you first get a dog, you're adapting to work with that four-legged feet, but it's a challenge for the first little bit to learn how to put your trust in them, but you do because it's something that's natural. And they're there to help you, and so they try and make sure that they're doing their jobs to help you feel comfortable. My name is Leeann, and I am visually impaired. I was blind all my life. I have no sight at all. I was 1 pound 11 ounces when I was born. I was a preemie. The hospital put too much oxygen in the incubator, so then it burnt the optic nerves, and my eyes aren't developed. So that was part of it, and then the second part of it, when I was 2, I ended up with glaucoma and had to have eye surgery. When I was little, my mom was always worried I was going to get hurt. I was riding two-wheeled bikes at 7, 8 years old, up and down the street, the neighbors' driveways, going around the building where I lived in Toronto. But my family always said, you can't shelter her, you have to let her live, you have to let her make mistakes. You've got to let her learn from the mistakes and to live the life, otherwise she's going to be sheltered and it's not going to do her any good when everybody's gone. And that's the one thing that I hold to this day. I still try and do things as much as I can. When I get up in the morning, I know where my meds are. I know where my coffee stuff is because I'll make my coffee in the morning. And then I'll go and take Canyon downstairs. And sometimes I get a little bit mixed up where I'm going, but not too often. Depends on where he likes to take me. Once he's done and I bring him back upstairs, I'll have breakfast after taking my insulin. So then once that's finished, we're usually listening to the newscast while we're eating, or I'm listening to a DVD or something I've put down on audio.
Cap T, Cap H8IISS space E WWA.
I use an Apple iPhone. It has VoiceOver built in, so I can do Facebook, can respond to emails, I do text messaging.
The voiceover she has with the Apple products is fantastic. She can navigate an iPhone like anybody that can see it. And so any kind of voiceover technology, that's great.
This is my Libra 2. So what I do with this is I'll scan my arm.
9 millimoles per liter and changing slowly.
So that's what my sugar's at right now. And I just scan my arm because I have a sensor on my arm. See, there's the sensor. And I also have what's called a Braille Sense. So this is a note-taking device that I can use either the Braille or it's got a voiceover in it as well. So I can use either or to do my writing and read. I'm probably not spelling your name right, but this is just so you can hear it. So that's what I just typed as hello Bernie.
Nice.
Yeah. When I first got Madison, my 13-year-old golden retriever, she is my first dog guide. We did what's called a solo. They take you to a certain spot in Oakville and then you have to go find your way back to the school. And that was how they wanted to see how you would be with the dog at that particular point. So I actually beat my trainer back to the school. They were coming around the corner as I was coming to the path that took me right back to the school parking lot. When I got to the curb, I got a big hug because I was really, really scared to do it and I didn't think I would make it through. But, Maddie was a good guide and I felt comfortable with Madison. I was still scared, still nervous, but I did it, and that's one of my biggest achievements because she was my first. I can definitely say that having Canyon in my life and Madison has been a godsend because I can cross streets with him and her. She was good at it too. They both, are really good at their jobs. And feeling things through the harness with him is amazing. Like, it's something that you do. Like, I can go out with Russ and I go, I miss Canyon because he's always a part of my left hand. So the harness is always a part of it. But, when you're crossing streets, you get scared because there's so much traffic and he generally keeps me on the same straight path. One of the things is we're trying to help educate for the dog guides, and that's an important cause for me. And I help raise money for the dogs because it's all donations. And that makes it easier for those of us who have the disability to get the dogs for free. And so that's something that I definitely am advocating for quite a bit. A lot of people, when they first lose their sight, they get scared. So sometimes I've been asked to speak with somebody who has just lost their sight and they're feeling a little bit down. And so I talk to them and I say, like, you'll be fine. It's more adapting and getting used to your surroundings and just taking each day at a time. That's the only thing you can do. You have to fall on your other senses. A lot of it is enhanced. A lot of it is stuff I've done since I was so young that it's just natural and normal. And, I can say for some people who are losing their sight, they tell you, they're like, I don't think I could do what you do. And yes, you can. You just have to open your mind to new things. I find people think what I do on a daily basis, like if I'm walking with Canyon or I'm using a piece of technology or just doing something that everybody does in general, it's like, you're amazing. No, I'm just me. I'm adapting. I do what I have to survive. That's where it is. And if I don't adapt, then I'm not going to get anywhere. So a lot of it is doing what I can. And if I find that I can't do something one way, I problem solve it and figure out another way to do it.
If somebody wants to do something, be there when they need it, but don't do something that they could do themselves. The worst thing you can do to anyone with a disability is treat them like they're too different. I'd had limited exposure before I met her. It's been a learning process. When she's feeling depressed or she's feeling down, then I can be there to try to pick her up and try to make her smile. If you truly care for somebody, then a disability is just something to adapt to. It's not something that can, that should be a limitation. It's more how you work together.
I hope that people can open their minds to new possibilities and to be able to open their hearts to acceptance for anyone that has a disability. Because a lot of people with disabilities are still having struggles. So this is what I'm hoping for, is that people will open up their hearts and their minds and be able to say, okay, well, what can we do to help? What can we do to make things different? For me, it's something that's very strong and very powerful when it comes to being respected.